I know this is fucked up, but there's nothing I love more than making white people uncomfortable by making jokes about like my culture and black people. I love seeing their faces when they're trying to like think to themselves, is it okay for me to laugh at that? Is that okay? Is it okay? I was telling I grew up in a suburb of literally pretty much only white people. They called my town was called Wall. I know that's a fucking weird name, but I always said that it was like literally 99.9% white people and the 1% was my family. And literally the nickname was White Wall. And white people came up with that because they knew they had no diversity in their fucking area, okay? So I obviously had this opportunity a lot to make them uncomfortable. Like I would tell, most of my friends are white. I mean, and I remember telling a group of my friends this story one time where I was at, one of my family parties, and my uncles, my dad's brothers, like, they all sweat, like, profusely. Okay. Shout out to my dad for not giving me that gene, because, like, not cute. Okay. And, one of my uncles made a comment about one of my other uncles and said, he looked like he was sweating like he was a runaway slave. Obviously we all laughed. And I remember telling that group of my, white friends that story once, and like some of them like laughed, and then some of them are like they like would like start to laugh and then be like, shit, like, is it like, and I don't know if they felt comfortable enough to be like, is that okay for me to laugh? And I don't know what I would have said. I just love seeing their faces. It's like, yeah. And then my uncle said that, my other uncle looked like he was sweating like a runaway slave. So, anyway. That shit makes me crack up. Even thinking about it right now makes me crack up. But yeah, growing up in a 99.9% white area, I mean, 99.9% is probably my scientific guesstimate, but still. Whenever me and my mom would see a black person in our area, we would be like, oh my God. Like, one time, me and my mom were pulling into our neighborhood, right? Which, again, is all white people. And we saw this black man running. And no, he was not running from the police. He was, having a jog. Thank you, everyone. Okay. All the white people in the audience are like, oh my God, no. Or if I was having an audience, all the white people watching this video, dreaming too big, are thinking like, shit, I wasn't thinking that. What? Like, no, of course he's having a job. What? Why would he be running from the police? Anyway. Yeah, he was having a jog, and I swear to God, my mother slowed down. She was like, Olivia, look. That's him. That's the guy I told you about. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, we were like, do you think he lives here? Like, do you think he just moved in? Because they were always doing, like, different stuff to different houses. People were always moving in and out. And my mom slowed down. I hope he didn't notice. I don't think he did, because he had his headphones on. But she looked at me, she was like, should we follow him? I was like, yes. And then she goes, no, I'm the adult in this situation. We are not doing this. And I was like, damn it, you were going to be a cool mom for a second. Shit. But yeah, I had a lot of those types of, well, not those type of experience, but I had a lot of different experience being a black girl growing up in a white community. When I was in middle school, one of my close friends, and this is not a made-up story. Like, people always are like, are you serious? Like, are you just trying to make me laugh? Like, no, I am not. And then people are always like, oh, was she kidding? No, this is like 100% serious. So one of my good friends, she asked me if, and yes, I was probably the first Black person she had ever met in her life. She asked me if my poop was white since hers was brown. And it's like we were like really little. We were like 13 or 14. And I remember just being like, I'm not an alien, Becky. Her name wasn't Becky. I'm sorry, that was wrong. That was fucked up. But no, I mean, there was a lot. There's a lot of experiences like that. Sorry, I didn't prepare anything. I just decided I would put the camera on and just roll. Even I think a lot of times white people have stereotypes about like what Black people can or can do, what happens, but like we also had certain like stuff. Like I was on vacation with my family once, and like my family and my extended family and my cousins went out, and they went to the beach and they came back sunburned. And these were like some of my darker cousins, and they were like, oh my god, like I didn't think we could get sunburned. We were still pretty young then. We were like 12, 11, like in that age range. But like we really like who had any idea? I luckily have never been sunburned because I put my sunscreen on, okay? Ever since that experience. Before then, I did not put it on because I personally did not think that we could get sunburned either. But ever since then, honey, I put my sunscreen on, okay? You ever have like that responsible person that you know? And you just like, how could you be such a strong trait and then such like a weak trait at the same time? How? And truthfully, the responsible person I'm speaking about is my father. We call him like Safety Officer Bob because this man wears sunglasses in public. This man wears sunglasses inside. It could be like the brightest lights or the dimmest lights. He'll still wear them. And when like you'll take your sunglasses off because you can't see, no, he'll leave them off. We'll be in like a really dark, like dim restaurant. He'll still have his sunglasses on. Sometimes I wonder if people think that he's like blind, like Stevie Wonder. But the irresponsible part of him is at one point I was basically temporarily disabled. So I was having, issues walking amongst a bunch of other things. And, we decided to go into our swimming pool to do some, physical therapy type of stuff that, my physical therapist had suggested. And I was in there in the deep end, he was there, whatever. He was grilling, we were going to have like whatever. And he went inside and, he told me I had to come inside too because it was late. And I was telling my mom about, how my dad had, told me that, well, he thought that, everything was fine when he left me out there, and it was. And she was like, well, yeah, he left you, sitting outside the pool, right? And I was like, he might have left me in the pool. This woman freaked out. Okay. She was like, what? Like, I've never, like, accidentally snitched on somebody. Ever. I'm going to be honest. When I was younger, I was quite the snitch. Okay? It was always on purpose. Always, always, always. I was a little sister. Of course I was a snitch. Come on, honey. So, I've never accidentally, but, So he came in, apparently, when he came in and left me out there. My mom was like, okay, you left her out there? My dad was like, oh, she's sitting. My mom was like, outside the pool. My dad goes, okay. My mom was like, why did you tell me she was sitting outside the pool? He was like, I didn't tell you she was sitting outside the pool. You said she's sitting out the pool, right? And I said, okay. And she was like, why would you say that? And he was like, well, you seemed a little upset already. Didn't want to further upset you. My mom goes, well, Olivia, if I knew you were still in there, I would have ran out there. And I just look at her. My mother can't swim. So I'm looking at her like, okay, you would have ran out there and did what? And I asked her that, and she looked at me like, she didn't say it, but she was kind of like, you're right, I can't swim, shit, damn it. But it's crazy to me that you can be so irresponsible, but so responsible at the same damn time. I mean, really. Anyway, that's all I got. Thank you. That's a really creepy smile, I'm sorry.